Hello lovelies, it's been a while and you are welcome back to my YouTube channel once again and to another online class where we'll be learning how to make this beautiful damask Zara Cap design. If you are new to this channel, you are welcome. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also do well to click on the bell icon, which will enable you to get notified whenever new tutorials are uploaded. The materials needed for this design include damask fabric, of which 1 yard will be more than enough, the fiber, your crinoline, small size, your scissors, your measuring tape, your matching color of thread and needle, as well as your gum and appliques for embellishment. For this tutorial, we are going to be working on a Zara cap, which I like to call the Mercy Zara cap because it was worn by both Mercy Chinwo and Mercy Johnson. Now for this particular design, I'm making use of damask fabric, of which you can make use of any plain fabric of your choice or any other fabric of your choice, and then 1 yard of fabric is more than enough for this design. So I'll be starting with the measurements needed, but before then, the cap is a Zara cap which has the band where there'll be the marco. It has a twist in front which is padded with fiber, and then at the back there is this loop design, and then your accessory for embellishment. So that's what makes up this design. Now starting with the fabric for the Zara cap, this damask fabric is a non-stretchy fabric. So what I have here is 16 inches for the width of my fabric by 26 inches for the length. The length is the head circumference, which is 26 inches, while 16 inches for the width. Now after sewing, I can now come back to decrease it to the actual head size I'm working, or rather let me put it this way, to fit the head size I'm working on. Now when you're working with non-stretchy fabric, you don't use the same measurement as with that of the stretchy fabric. And again, why you need to cut out a longer piece, that is for the length, when working with the non-stretchy fabric, especially when there's a design on it. After fixing the design on your Zara cap, at times the length now becomes shorter, or the length reduces because of the tacking. So once again, for the Zara cap, the measurement is 26 by 16. In addition to this, we have the marco, and for my marco I'm making use of 3 inches for the width by 18 inches for the length, 3 by 18 inches for the marco. Now moving on to the twisted design in front, I have my fabric here and I have 10 inches for the width by 36 inches for the length, 10 by 36 inches. If this ends up being too long while working, we just need to cut off the excess fabric. Now this particular fabric is going to be padded, and for my padding I'm going to be using fiber. Now I will always say that you should, before you cut out your fiber, first ensure that you have sewn your padding fabric, and then you turn it inside out, then you take the measurements of the padded fabric, and that will guide you on the padding material to cut out, whether your foam or fiber. So first, turn your fabric inside out, take the measurement, and then go ahead to cut out either your wadding, your fiber, or your foam. I'm using fiber, and the measurement for my fiber is 5 by 32 inches because I don't want the fiber to get to the end of the fabric. So that is it for that. Now for the design at the back. For the design at the back, a loop design, you will need as many pieces of fabric as you want, depending on how full you want it to be. So anywhere between 10 to 12 inches is okay. So measurement for the length is 10.5 inches, while the width is 6 inches. 10.5 by 6 inches. Cut out 10 times 10 different pieces of fabric. Now in addition to that, I have my crinoline here. This is the thick crinoline, and the width is 3 inches. So this is the crinoline we're going to be inserting inside the fabric to give it that standing effect. So that is it for the materials I'll be using. Then let's get started. So I have the fabric for my Zara Cap here, as well as my marco. So I'll get my marco, go ahead to fold it into 2 equal halves so as to enable me locate the middle, and then I go ahead to mark it. Then I'll go ahead to fold my fabric into 2 equal halves and also make a notch at the middle of my fabric. So that is it for that. Then I'll go ahead to open this up, place my marker on it. Please ensure that the midpoint on your marker aligns with the midpoint on your fabric. So I'll go ahead to fold this down, and then I'll go ahead to fold in this fraying edge. So I'll fold in the fraying edge inside this way. So after folding it in, I'll place it on my sewing machine and stitch it down from one end to the other end with this edge folded in. So I'll take it down to my sewing machine and stitch it. Then after doing that, I'll get back for us to continue. So right here, I have my cap already sewn. This is it. This is this other side. The next thing I'll be doing is that I'll be pulling my fabric so that this sewn part comes down to the middle here. So I'll just start pulling my fabric gradually so as to keep pulling this sewn part until it comes to the middle at this point. So that's what I'll just keep doing. So if you look carefully, you observe that it has come up, it's now sitting at the middle. The sewn part is no longer visible at the edge, but it's now inside here. So having done that, I'll stop at this point, and then I'll place it down this way. I'll go ahead to fold my fabric into 2 equal halves, and then I'll take this down to my sewing machine. I'll stitch it down from the edge, that is from the band part. I'll stitch it down this way, down to this very end. I'll flip it over now. So this is the band part. I'll start sewing from here to this edge and then down to this very edge. Now after sewing, as you can see, I've stitched from this edge down to this very edge. This is what I have. The next we'll be doing is I'll be making a running stitch to form gathers. Now my running stitch is going to come immediately after the band, and I'll take it all the way to this edge. Right here I have my cap with the sewing stitch already sewn. This is the wrong side, and then I'll flip this over to the fine side. So this is the back, this is the inner part, and this is the front view. So the next one we're going to be working on is the twisted design that is going to be on it. For that, I'll get my fabric, and then I said the measurement is 10 inches by 36 inches. So you get your fabric, fold into 2 with the wrong side facing you and the fine side inside, then have it sewn from one end down to the other end. Thereafter, I'll go ahead to turn my fabric inside out after sewing. So this is it. This is how it's looking like. The next we'll be doing is that I'll be taking the measurement of our fabric. So at this point, I'm having about 5 inches. 4 is more than 4.5, almost 5 inches. So this can also serve as a guide for your fiber. So for your fiber, you can cut out 5 inches or 4.5 inches rather, so that it can sit inside your fabric very well. It's still okay. So anywhere between 4.5 and 5 inches is fine. Then we'll get my fiber, which I said is 5 by 32. So I'll pass this inside my fabric, but before then I'll just trim off the edges a bit so that I can sit inside this my damask fabric properly. After you see me passing my fabric my fiber inside my fabric. So as soon as we are done inserting our fiber, if you look carefully, you see it didn't get to the very end. Also from this end, it did not get to the very end. Now the design will start creating it. It's a very simple one. All we just have to do is twist our fabric and then tack it down to the base. So like this, I'm starting like this. And then I'll get my Zara cap. This part is sitting at the back this way. And then I'll go ahead to tack it down to secure it in place. So this is it. At this point now, I'll start twisting my fabric. So as I twist my fabric on the marco, I'll get my needle and thread to help me tack it down in place together. So that's what I'll be doing right now. So I'll be twisting and I'll be tacking. I'll be twisting and I'll be tacking until I get to the end. Now, if you don't want to tack immediately, you can get pins to help you hold it in place, but it's still likely to get loose. So I recommend tacking as you twist. So I had to go off camera to complete it, and at this point, this is my Zara cap with the twisted design in front. As you can see, this is the back view. So we're creating the loops that are at the back. To do that, remember I said you need anywhere between 10 to 12 pieces of fabric. I have my fabric here. Get the first piece of fabric, fold it into two with the fine side inside and the wrong side outside, and then sew it down from one end to the other end. After which you go ahead to turn your fabric inside out, which I've done here. So this is how it looks. Now we have the sewn part at the middle, so do the same thing for the other piece of fabric that you have cut out. So I have my fabric here. The next thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to be inserting our crinoline into it. Like I said earlier, this is crinoline. This particular crinoline I'm using is the hard type of crinoline. There are two types of crinoline, the soft one and the hard one, and the width is about 3 inches. If you're making use of the soft one, please double your crinoline so that it can be stiff and make the design a bit strong. If you're using the hard one, you can use it single, like it's, you can use a single piece like I'm going to be doing, or you can also go ahead to double it so as to enforce it more. So just get your crinoline, your fabric, and then go ahead to pass it inside your fabric. Do this for all the pieces of fabric that you have cut out and sewn. Okay, so since you are working with 12 inches, your crinoline also should be around 12 inches for the length. So this is it, and then I have my other piece of fabric here. I've also gone ahead to insert my crinoline inside my fabric, so that is it for that. Then we'll go ahead to now start stitching, that is coupling the fabrics together so as to create the design. We'll be coupling all the fabrics together. For that, you have to get your needle and thread ready. So this is what we do. We'll pick each fabric, fold into 2 equal halves, and then make a running stitch at the edge of the fabric. Now, before I forget, please endeavor to iron your fabric so that it can come out. You iron your fabric with the crinoline inside so it can come out more beautiful. So in this order, fold the fabric into 2 and then go ahead to make a running stitch at the edge of the fabric. So we'll do this for all the pieces of fabric, and then I'll get back to continue when we are done. Right, I have my fabric, I have my needle and thread here. So I have 9 pieces of fabric here. Out of the 10 pieces I initially cut out, 9 pieces here, and I'm ending it because it's already very full. So I'm going to pull my thread very tight. I'll pull it tightly, then pass it from this first loop that we started from, so as to secure everything down together. So I'll go ahead to tack it several times at that point so as to secure it together. Then I'll arrange my fabric in place properly. So as soon as this is ready, I'll get my Zara cap and then I'll be tacking this down to the back of the Zara cap this way. So I'll make use of my needle and thread to tack this down. When it comes to tacking, there's no special technique. You just have to keep passing your needle and thread in and out, in and out. And that's what I'll be doing now. So at the end of the day, I'm done tacking my design. This is how the back view looks like. So this is the inner part of it. This is this front view, this side with the twist. This is the top, and this is how it looks like. Now coming to the back, you cannot leave this place like this. So you can get any flower accessory of your choice together with your gum. So I have my UAG gum. I have this rose. I also have this flower patch. So just go ahead to decide whichever one you want. Apply your gum. Then you can glue this down at the back, or better still, you make use of this. Okay. So you just get what you need and then glue it down to cover up that middle part, and that is all. So I'll finish this up and then get back to show us the final outlook on our dummy head. And this is the final outlook which we have on our dummy head. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you got value from this tutorial. Kindly do well to follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Facebook and on Instagram as JenieConcept. Until our next tutorial, bye.